latest news, industry topics, and business tips. For all hairstylists and salon owners, it's time to flip the script. Grab your precision scissors, barber combs, and swivel twist razors. Let's cut a bob, a quick shag, pixie cut with a little bit of flavor. Check out the live classes, product reviews, let's rock on. Don't forget to check out freesaloneducation.com. I woke up this way. What's up? It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it,
Welcome,
flip
everybody.
it. I woke up this way.
And here we are. What's up? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Very excited to be hanging out with you guys today. Like every day, I'm always excited to hang out with you guys. Now listen, today's show is going to be super fun. I'm going to show you guys how to cut every bang that I know in one show. So we got tons and tons of things to share with you guys. Also, run to shopfse.com. That is shopfse.com, because we got, if you want to represent the show, you can get sweatshirts, t-shirts. I got this in the mail today and I was very excited about it. So this is even a champion. So now I'm cool too. I'm a hipster too. So if you guys want to rep the show, go check it out, shopfse.com. Okay. So now, two things. All I need you guys to do before we start the show, before we start cutting bangs, is give it a share. Join the chat. If you're new to the show, if this is your first time tuning in, I sent out a lot of alerts today. So if this is your first time tuning into the show, welcome. Thanks for showing up. Don't be a stranger in the chat. Make sure that you get involved. We're building lots of very cool relationships over there. So I see everybody. I see all of you guys in the chat on Facebook and YouTube. Say hi to everybody and type new. If you don't know what to type, just type new so we can see who's new in the chat. Everybody can say hi to you. And that's how we build this community. If you build it, they will come. What's up, guys? Regine? Watching from Rome, Italy. Welcome. Very cool. Everybody saying hi to everybody else. What's up? Bonnie's new. What's up, Bonnie? All right, very cool. So we got some new people in there. We're going to have some originals, the OGs of the show as well. We're 22 episodes in now, guys. We've been doing this for a long time now, every day. Not really a long time. It hasn't been that long, but it's been a lot of shows. So 22 times is quite a bit. So everybody say hi to Bonnie. Everybody also say hi to Michael. Say hi to Lori. Very cool. Oh, sweet. Lots of newbies today. Echo. Akoe. Good one. Sweet. Levi, what's up? Good vibes. That's right. Morgan, what's up? All right, super cool. We got lots of good newbies in here. So all I ask of you guys, this is obviously a free show. This is a free education class, but we also like to have a lot of fun in here. Just share the show. Just hit the share button on whatever social platform you're on. If it's complicated for you and you don't want to mess anything up, then you can share it afterwards. But let's try to get as many people on here live as possible. I'm going to show you guys so many different techniques today, so I can't wait for that. Also, another little announcement, we're restocking the store. Still no Donald Scott carving combs. Hopefully today they come, but we just got our comb shipment in. We got some really cool ruby red, emerald green. We got blueberry colored combs. This is my favorite comb. It's a 339. So if you want to get that, obviously go to shopfse.com. That's Free Salon Education, and you can get those tools as well. And also, we started and launched payment plans on scissors because we understand that this day and age, it's tough to buy an expensive scissor, but we also want you guys to have the tools. So all you have to do is put half down, and then you can pay the others in multiple payments. No credit check or anything like that. So that's it. All right, cool. Lynn, what's up? Lynn's been in a salon. I know she's been back in the salon. A lot of us are still not in it yet. I've been watching her posts on our app, FSE Now, and it's been crazy to see, all the clients that she's been doing. So congrats to Lynn for being back. I know it's probably difficult. It's a totally different environment right now, but it's very cool. So, all right. What's up, Jess? I see you. All right, everybody say hi to Jess to keep her awake because I think it's like 2 a.m. in Australia right now. So, all right, guys, cool. let's get into the first video. So we're going to roll the first video. This one's all about cutting a curtain fringe, which is a super popular fringe. And I'm going to show you guys a couple versions of this throughout the show because I have multiple techniques to create similar looks. So this is what I want you guys to understand. I'm going to show you guys so many different techniques that you're going to have like everything in your arsenal to cut any kind of bang you want to, which I'm super psyched to show you guys all of these different videos. So the first video, we're going to roll it. Hope you enjoy. Here is the first rendition of the curtain fringe. Here it is.
Now the sectioning for this cut is very simple. So all I did was I took a triangle section from the high point of the head down to the edge of the eyebrows, really the recession point. And then I go straight across with a horizontal line, taking about a 1/2 inch parting from that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break up each section I'm taking down from that triangle so that I don't lose my guide. So I start off, I'm going to create my guide. The technique that we're going to do is a 1/2 open, 1/2 close of the scissor. And you notice how that gives it that really textured appearance, a textured feel to the cut. So I just do a 1/2 open, 1/2 close, keep the scissor right where it is, and I kind of pull the hair up into the scissor with my other hand. And what that's doing is it's kind of chewing through that section and giving it not a perfect line, and that's going to give you that textured bang effect. So I just keep bringing everything, pinching the hair, bringing it into the center, and because I'm over directing everything to the center, it's pushing that weight, that extra length off to the side. So you get that kind of curved effect of the fringe, almost like that curtain fringe feel. So that's a very popular look right now. And this is a great way to achieve it. So I'm going to go through another horizontal panel. I bring it down. I want to make sure I can see that bang that I cut underneath the new section. So then I just pinch it in my hand and I go through 1/2 open, 1/2 closed. It becomes a lot easier at this point because I've already cut my guideline, and I just keep bringing everything over to that center and cutting through it. You can see how it keeps it nice and light, textured, and brings that, kind of builds that weight line and shifts it almost into that U shape to give it more of a trendy appeal. So same thing. Now I'll do a little bit more sliding with the scissor. It's not just keeping it stationary, because the more you do sliding, the more texture, the more layering you're going to put in there, and the lighter it's going to be. So same thing all the way through, just pulling that hair over to the center and chewing through it with the scissor. So as you guys can see, this is a very simple technique. It's what I love most about it. Anytime I'm trying to put a video out for you guys, I want it to be a technique that you can use in the salon, and it's very simple and quick to get a great result. So you can see it's got a nice texture, nice movement, and you can see the layers from the previous haircut kind of come through as well, almost like a little shag look to it. So I hope you guys like this. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.
All right, so that is the first technique. So what'd you guys think of that? Went by quick, but it's just a very simple technique to do. Basically, all you're doing is pulling that hair over to the center, keeping the scissor in the same spot, and then moving that scissor back and forth and just keep bringing hair to it. Learned that technique from Ryan Teal, who's a good friend of mine. And we have a video of him doing that technique on the back of the head that we shared with you guys on a previous show. So you can check that out, the show that I did with Ryan. We share that technique with you. So I just took it, flipped it, and put it into the fringe, and it worked really, really well. So thank you to Ryan for that. Hello to everyone on the chat. Hello to my Aunt Jackie. I saw her on there. Thank you for joining us. Not a hairdresser, but a family, I guess. I couldn't think of what I wanted to say. All right. I like the bang technique. Joyce, awesome. Glad to hear that. Let's see. Two things before we get into the next technique. Make sure that you guys shoot me. Let me remove that. Shoot me a text. So before I go live, or before I do anything, or if I put out a new video, or I have something to say to you guys, I'd love to be able to communicate through text, because I know that you get the message, and that's kind of what the whole thing's about. Like when I go live on Facebook, only a few of you guys, it's hundreds of thousands of people following us on Facebook, and they show it to like 50. We have hundreds of thousands of people on YouTube, saying that we're live, and only a few people get it. So 2 things that you can do. You can text me right now. Just say hi. 215-608-2612. 215-608-2612. You can text me. Just say hi. That's all you have to say, and it'll get the conversation started with me and you. I just sent out a text at 12 o'clock saying, hey guys, I'm going live. So you could have had that text if you're watching this later and you didn't see it live. And then also, the FSE Now app, you get an alert the day before I go live. And then also on Facebook and on YouTube that you're on right now, it probably says, would you like to be notified when this person goes live? Hit yes. Just hit I want to be notified so that when I go live, you'll get an alert that way as well. So that's the best ways to make sure that you don't miss the show ever as we go through it. Tech service is great. Thanks, Ashley. It's awesome. Yeah, guys, all you have to do is text me. And, all the texts that you get are directly from me. I'm sending them out personally. So, and when you text me, it comes directly to me. So we don't miss that communication. All right, cool. So Jess just reminded me that I forgot to tell you guys that when you have a question, you got to write Q and then put the question. So if you have a question about any of the videos, any of the techniques that you see on this show, type Q, then put your question so I can see it easily in the chat, just like Jess did right here. So let me read this question. I know we can't buy scissors, etc. from your store because she's in Australia. Can one purchase combs, etc.? So here's the thing. It screws up the whole store. And I'm on a kick right now, and I'm trying to push because I want to be able to sell worldwide. Obviously, it would make sense because we're not in 1965 anymore, and people build audiences all over the globe, right? So I want to be able to sell scissors. There is a way that you can buy them, and I'm going to send you, I forget what the link is, but there's a way that you can buy from our store that ships to a certain company in the US, like it's a company built for it. I forget exactly what it's called. Maybe I'll remember before the end of the show. If I don't, Jess, I'll send you a message. But basically you purchase it and it gives you a US address and it ships to the company, and then that company ships it to you. It's kind of a weird way around it, but if you wanted to buy something from the store, and it was a good purchase, like combs might not be worth it. You could probably find the combs somewhere. Or let me know. We can figure it out, Jess. So let me know what you want. And then maybe we can put together an order for you. Let's see. Another question here. Brenda. I only share to other stylists. I feel this should be for us. Being honest, how do you feel? So Brenda, this is a question that comes up a lot. So maybe you haven't heard my answer to this. Obviously, I put out free education all of the time on the internet and everywhere. Now, I take our profession very serious. And the reason I say that is because I don't think somebody watching these videos can replicate the exact thing that I'm doing. It's just like if you were a professional athlete and you watch a YouTube video of a professional athlete training, and then you go out in the backyard for a couple hours and you practice that. Are you going to be as good as that professional athlete that's been practicing for 15, 20 years every day? Just like us, we practice every day. You should be practicing every day. You should be training every day. You should be learning every day. And if you're not, then you should be replaced by the person that can watch YouTube. And not you, Brenda, but I'm just saying you should be replaced by the person that can watch YouTube, learn what you do, because you're not worth that money. I'm worth the money, and I know Brenda's worth the money, and hopefully everyone in this chat is worth the money because we study, learn, train, and become the best at what we do. And no one can replace that by watching a YouTube video. The only way they could replace us by watching a YouTube video is for them to watch YouTube videos every day and train every day and get better every day, which then they'll probably want to be a hairdresser. So I think it's cool to put out how much we know. Do you know how many people call my salon and say, I cannot find someone that can cut my hair the way that I see you doing it, and I will fly there to get my hair done by you? It happens all the time. It's the reason we developed our app and all of that stuff, because I want to send those people to you guys. But that's the thing, like bringing awareness to our industry and being able to share how well we know what we do makes us look better in the end. I'm about to show you guys 6 different ways to cut bangs. People they think that they just pull it over and cut it. They don't realize how much stuff goes into it. So I think it's good to get the awareness out there, and don't be scared of anybody taking your job unless you're not working hard to keep yourself trained and keep pushing yourself. Does that make sense? Cool. I'm looking at the chat. Very, very cool. Lots of questions today. I'm loving it. And Brenda, totally understand the question. I get it because I get the question a lot, and I totally understand it. And thank you for asking it because it brings more awareness to that situation. I really think people need to know that. How do you blow dry and style a long curtain fringe? Well, Jody, guess what? I was going to play that video last, but I'm going to play that video for right now for you because that's what this show's about. It's about catering to the people. And the last video actually has a blow dry in it, and it's a curtain fringe. So I'm going to show you another way to cut a curtain fringe and then how to blow dry it. You guys are totally going to dig this video. Let's watch it right now. Here it is.
All right, guys, so the first thing that I'm going to do is brush out the hair using my Ergo Diamond brush. This is a new brush that I've gotten. The thing I love about this brush is that I'm always a paddle brush fan, but sometimes the paddle brush is just too big. So this is just a miniature version of a paddle brush. So I brush the hair back, I find the center parting, and then I go in and I look for that curve of the head right on the forehead area, which is usually about 2 inches from the hairline. I find the balance in the comb, and then that's where I draw that triangle to section off the fringe. A lot of people have difficulties figuring out where to section the fringe. I find balancing my comb right there really gives me an opportunity to find out where that hair is going to fall forward and where it's going to fall off to the side. So I braid that all away, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush the hair back and put it into a ponytail just because I'm not going to cut the rest of the hair in this video, so I wanted to section it away. Now, I would always do that triangle section no matter what haircut I'm doing, but obviously I wouldn't put the hair in a ponytail every single time. So now I'm going to go through, I'm using that diamond head brush. This is the benefit of the brush because it's smaller. You can get a little bit of lift. So I'm going to go through, lift the hair up. Now, the key thing with the fringe is to make sure it's got a nice natural fall to it instead of going in and using a lot of tight tension. So I wouldn't want to go in and blow it dry with my comb or anything that's going to have a lot of tension to it, or like a diamond brush. But I go through, and the diamond brush gives me a nice light, medium tension, let's call it. But I can also leaf it and lift it up to give it that volume. Then I go through with my Vibra Straight iron. I go diagonal one way, then diagonal back the other way, and that gives me the shape of the forehead and a nice smooth feel to that fringe area. So now the scissor choice that I'm going to make is the Mizutani Puffin scissor. It's a 5.5-inch scissor that I'm choosing. And the reason I chose this is because obviously we're doing dry cutting. It's a dry cutting scissor. I love the feel of the blade on dry hair. It's got a nice smooth feel to it. But also, you should always have a dry cutting scissor that kind of separates from your precision scissor, because cutting hair dry with your precision scissor can dull it faster. So I use this scissor. It's got a lot of power. It's got a really thick blade, a nice sharp point to it. And I go through and I use a tease cutting technique. So I'm pinching everything right in front of the nose, and I go through and half close that scissor and slide it back and forth until I cut through that whole section. Now what I'm going to do is over direct it even more over the edge of the eye. So the opposite eye on the opposite side of the head, because that's going to give me an extreme kind of push of that weight. Now the curtain fringe, you're going to notice a disconnection, but the curtain fringe is much longer towards the side and off that edge of the eye. So I like to do that disconnection first, then I'll show you guys the technique that I go through to connect those two edges together. So extreme over direction, and then I go through. You can see how it pops off there. I go through, I smooth it out again with my iron, because a lot of times when you smooth something that's longer, it gets a different type of bend. So I just bend it with the curve of the head. And then I go through and I do some point cutting to connect those 2 points together. So I keep my comb at a diagonal, and I go through with that puffin scissor and point cut to connect those 2 points together. So I just keep lifting it up. Now, also notice how much I'm lifting it off the head. A lot of people do that super low. The higher you lift it, the more feathered look you're going to get with the fringe. So now I go through,
I'm going to do some leafing. I'm going to blow dry the rest of the hair because I want you to see the finished look all together. But I also have one more technique that we're going to throw in to create this curtain fringe. So bangs are a little more complicated than people think they are. So now I'm going in with my Type Z dual texture scissor, and I'm just going to glide through the tips of that fringe and just soften it even more. So sometimes that tease cutting technique doesn't make it quite as soft as I wanted it to. I pushed that weight over, I connected the 2 dots, and now I go through with the Type Z dual texture, and there's our end result. Hope you like it, guys. Alrighty. I'm feeling like I feel like really terrible right now because on the chat, so here, I'll bring you guys in a little bit. So on the chat, as I'm seeing it, I can reply to you guys, right? And so I'm trying to write. So Brenda was being like super nice, and she had that question about sharing this, and she wanted to share the show, but she was scared to share it with people that weren't hairdressers and all this stuff. And like, so there's 2 options, reply and block, and they're both the same size, and I accidentally blocked her, and I can't figure out. So I'm hoping she can still see the show, and somehow I blocked her. So all of her stuff went away, and I'm trying to figure out how to unblock her, and I don't know how. So Brenda, if you can hear me, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna figure it out. We're gonna play another video in a second. And I didn't mean it. I did not, I promise. I feel terrible. Okay, so I'm gonna figure that out, guys. But did you like that curtain fringe and that blow dry? I hope that made sense for you guys. We're going to do another curtain fringe towards the end of the show, but for now, I'm going to show you guys some shorter fringes. Actually, we're going to start long, and then we're going to work our way short. Somebody was asking the question about, actually, I have a couple questions here. So let me answer those. How can you blow dry? Here we go. So Lucy Lou. So she's saying you have a video on how to do a side bang cut. So these are all going to be side bangs now. So the first ones we did were center parting. So now we're going to start off doing side fringes. We're going to start off with the super long side bang. It's almost not even a bang, but it side sweeps, and it's long. And then we're going to work our way shorter. So this is the first one to show you guys the difference between cutting it heavy and cutting it light. So the first time we're going to cut it with low elevation, and then the second round we're going to cut the same bang with high elevation to show you guys the differences in the weight. So check it out and let me know what you think. We're going to start off creating a heavy, longer side bang. So what I'm going to do is go with really low elevation. The lower the elevation when you're cutting a bang, the heavier it's going to be. We've talked about this in past videos. If you have to treat the front of the head the same as you would treat the back. So if I'm trying to create light, airy layers, then I definitely want to elevate more. With this, what I want to do is add some extra weight, and this would be for somebody that maybe wants to be able to pull their hair back and doesn't want the hair to fall out, things like that, but they still want that kind of angled fringe around the face. So I keep the low elevation. I work diagonal sections all the way back, bringing them to a stationary guide, and then connecting it on the opposite side. Some guests really like that heaviness in the front, especially if they have a lower density or kind of a weaker hairline. And like I said, if they want to pull all their hair back and not have the hair falling out. So now we're going to move into a light, long side bang. Much the same. The only difference is now we're elevating the hair. So we talked about the more you elevate the hair, the lighter it's going to be in the front. So I'm doing a 90-degree elevation with a stationary guide. So I'm over directing everything over to the same point, pushing it away from my body. I like cutting from a short to long point, so that's why I'm pushing the hair away. You could stand on the opposite side and pull the hair towards you, just really whatever makes you comfortable. But I'm working that stationary guide, cutting, and what that's doing is collapsing that hair, but it's giving it a seamless feel because of the fact that I'm following the head shape. So just make sure when you elevate the hair that your finger angle is parallel with the forehead. If you elevate any higher, it's just going to collapse it too much. So I think that this is such a good visual for me. This is a video that I've wanted to create for a long time because we don't get the opportunity to see these visually next to each other, all these different haircuts and different ways of removing and keeping weight.
So you could see the flow. It works really well. You can see the weight that's been taken out right around the edges of that haircut where it was heavy before. So it just makes it a lot easier for your guests to be able to style it and maneuver it.
All right, so that's the side. That's the long version. So now we're gonna do a short version. I still have not figured. I can't figure this out. So I found out. Thank you for the person that wrote that I just go into my settings. I went into my personal settings. I didn't block her personally. I just blocked her on my business page. So I'm still trying to figure it out. I will figure it out. The show must go on. I really apologize, and I will figure it out. But we got to make sure we have a good show. So I don't want to screw that up either. So how are we feeling about this? Sandra had a question. She was asking about tools. So she said, "What is the most affordable pair of scissors for a beginner? I'm just about to graduate and starting as a stylist. I'm nervous but excited. So broke but need the right tools." So here's something I'm going to tell you right now. First off, any scissor that you got in school, for the most part, will be just as good as a scissor that you're going to buy that, is a little bit more expensive, but you got to be very careful with scissors. And this is the thing. I've wanted to come out with my own scissor because I wanted to create something cheaper for you guys, but and I've sold Mizutani forever. There's a reason why I haven't come out with a cheap scissor, brought it in and sold it to you guys cheaper and just put my name on it. I could have done that so easily, and I've met with lots of companies about it, but literally this is what people do. They go to China, they buy Japanese steel, they manufacture in China, and these are big scissor companies that do this, right? So they buy the scissor, literally $10 to $15 a piece, and then they go, it manufactures in China for $10 to $15. They bring it back to the U.S. They sell it as Japanese-made scissors and handmade scissors, because all scissors have to be, there's some of it has to be done by hand, but most of it's pressed and forged in a machine, and then they hand work it out, right? Then they sell it for $500, $600, $800. It's a sick business. And even fancy scissor companies, but I know Mizutani makes everything by hand. They've done it forever, and they make it in Japan in their factory. So I just can't imagine wanting to sell. I couldn't sell a piece of junk to you guys, and most companies are selling junk that's a $15 scissor, $30 maybe, and they're selling it for $600 to you guys, and it's just ridiculous. So you got to be very careful and understand. Here's one of them. This scissor I got, this scissor right here that looks very similar to a lot of the scissors that you guys use. You might actually even use this scissor. It has the same, so this is my Mizutani scissor. Let me see if I can show you guys where it's in focus in front of my face. So there's a finger groove I like. So I reached out to some companies, told them what I like. They sent me these scissors. It has the same cutting functionality. This is $25 for me to have made. Look at this little screw. Notice that little screw right there. Let's see if I can. That little screw. It doesn't matter the brand, because that brand, it could be a brand, I don't know, but super cheap. Look at this. Japan. Let me cover up that brand, but look. That's the worst. It's definitely not Japan. Let me do this. Look at that. Japanese. Made in China. Right? So, here's how I answer this question about affordable scissors. If it's affordable, there may be a company, you could buy this, and let's say it's $150 if you sold this at a realistic price. But most people, the average retail price of this scissor, what they recommend you sell it for, is $350 to $400. $25 costs. Ludicrous, right? So Mizutani scissors, handmade. It's an art. It's a craft. They've been making it for, since 1921. and they've had their factory and they make them by hand. That's an artist. You're paying an artist to make you a product. This, you're paying a scam artist to make your product. They make it, they forge it, they don't have any artistic ability in making it, and then they rip you off and they buy it. And honestly, it's not going to stay sharp. You know, it's just whatever. I don't know a ton about it, but I've looked into it enough to where I feel like I know a little bit more than the average person. And it's a bummer. It's a really big bummer. So I hope that educates you guys a little bit and helps you understand scissors. If you don't have the money for a more expensive, like a Mizutani type scissor, or even a Hikari, Hikari's a good brand. If you can't do that, then I would wait. Because your other scissors will cut hair just as well as this $500 scissor that you're going to buy from a company. And don't believe any company that lets you put $30 down on a scissor that's an $800 scissor, because if you're a business person, you know that people are going to default on that payment plan, and you're getting your money back on that first transaction. So that first $30 that you have to give them, you've already paid for the scissor, right? So understand that. Sorry, went on a scissor rant there. Whoops. All right. If the hair dry, we must apply. Not sure of that question. All right, let's go. I'm trying to catch up with you guys. You guys are blowing the chat up, and I feel like I felt like I'm starting to see you guys laughing. I haven't seen you laugh yet, so that's good. I'm glad we're on that vibe. We've got that going for each other. Yeah, Kristen. You know what's funny? This Laura Jenkins, it's hilarious because you were on here like on some of the first shows, and I don't remember what episode, but literally we have a friend named Laura Jenkins, and you were talking about the Dyson blow dryer, so I definitely remember it, and it's hilarious because I thought you were our friend just talking about it, and I mean, you can be our friend, but it's you're not that Laura Jenkins, so it was just funny. Jessica, yeah. Yep. What brand scissors would you recommend then? So, Kristen, here's the deal. I literally only recommend Mizutani because it's the only brand I know. And I'm so frustrated with the whole thing because I sell Mizutani scissors, and I know, I sell them, and obviously that's not the reason. I could sell any scissor. I could sell a lot cheaper scissors and make a lot more money, and I could sell cheaper scissors and probably be able to do it worldwide and make a lot of money. But I'm selling Mizutani because I believe in it, and that's the problem. I'm it's hard. So Mizutani, that's who I recommend. And I've got, they made my scissor, which is this one. We're coming out with some new ones. And then also, I just had a meeting with them yesterday, and we're coming out with a kind of like a COVID relief type scissor that's going to be priced a lot lower than normal Mizutani scissors. It's got some really cool stuff. They sent me a picture. I don't want to talk about it too much yet, but it's going to be exclusive. I'm going to sell it on my site. So pretty psyched about that. So hopefully, you guys will benefit from that. What's the difference between rebonding, straightening, and smoothing? So, Akash, that's a good question. It doesn't have a lot to do with bangs, but let's get into it real quick. I think the biggest difference is rebonding is just, I would believe, adding bonds to the hair. Straightening. So then there's straightening treatments that completely straighten the hair, and then there's smoothing treatments that just kind of the same as rebonding, like they help build the hair up and smooth it out, smooth that cuticle out. And then it makes it easier to smooth your hair, but it doesn't actually straighten your hair. That's about as much as I know. I don't want to act like an expert on that subject. If you want to know anything about social media, cutting hair, cameras, like those kind of things, live streaming, I know a lot about that stuff. Let's see. I personally wouldn't spend more than $200 on scissors. Lauren, that's I get that. And honestly, if I thought that there was like a really good scissor, but you can, this is the thing, and where she's got a good point is that you can do great haircuts with this scissor. Like this scissor that's not Mizutani that I got from China to test out. You can do a great haircut with this, and it's super sharp when you get it. The longevity of it and the fact that it doesn't actually cost very much money, the fact that it's literally like, $25 and people are selling it for $600, that's where the issue is. If they were selling it for $150, like I said, that makes total sense. Great margins, and it's a good scissor. And when I was doing it, I was going to sell it at that $150. That was my thought. And then after I used it for a while, I was like, you know what? It's just not. It just didn't have that same feel, and I didn't want to deal with because I didn't know what 5 years looked like later on cutting with it, and I didn't want to cut with it for 5 years to find out. So that was kind of the other issue there. So all right. Probably because you blocked. Oh yeah, that is why you're laughing at me. See, I gotta catch up with this chat. All right, Mizutani's are the best shears I've ever owned. Angela, whoa, that's a big comment. Love it. Which straighteners do you like best? That's a good one. I honestly like Paul Mitchell straighteners the best at this point in my life. Paul Mitchell Neuro straightener works super good. Never had a problem with it. I haven't used every straightener there is. What's your guys' favorite straightener? Post that. I would love to see that in the chat. I did catch up with the chat, so I'm feeling good. All right. Do you suggest sharpening your scissors? Yes, but with a specific person. And I need to get this lined up, but we found a guy in California through Mizutani, the connection, who does an unbelievable job. And I gotta connect with him, but I'm gonna put it through our site so you guys can ship and you'll have that guy to go to. Let's see. I think somebody's asking the website, so let me put up. Oh, nope. Let's do this. So shopfsc.com or freesaloneducation.com. You can, screwing that up. You can go on that. freesaloneducation.com is our website, and then the shop is shopfse.com. You can get to all of it from each thing. I'd pay more money for scissors if they were pretty. Cool. Are we talking about this kind of straightener? So Keratin Complex has a great straightener. I don't do those. We don't even have them at the salon. So I know a lot of people make money doing them. For me, if you're talking about straightening services, I just don't do them. No real reason. It's just I like cutting colors, so just fill my book with that. All right, that's cool. All right. How long should a new shear hold sharpness? So these Mizutani scissors I've had and I cut mannequins all the time. I've had I've had this one. I got this one at Christmas time, and this is the one I've been using every day, and it's still dead sharp. This one I got about a year and a half ago, and I still haven't sharpened it. So it depends on how many haircuts you're doing a day, what type of hair you're cutting, but you should get a year, I think, out of your scissor. And I wouldn't do it too much more than that because you're working metal off, even though there's some nasty people out there that sharpen scissors too. And I'm sorry this is turning into that kind of episode, but for the hairdressers out there, I had this guy come in, and I had this pair of scissors that I had bought. I spent all my money on them when I first started doing hair. So it was $600. They were Hikari scissors. I loved them so much. And then this guy came in and he said he was a shear sharpener, and I didn't know anything, didn't know any better. And he went out to the van and took the scissor, and he grinded the thing down so much that it just never was the same again. Like it ruined the whole thing. So you have to be very careful to know who is like a real certified sharpener. And it shouldn't take away too much metal. It should just be polishing the edge of the blade. He was like grinding it down. Where can I get a sweatshirt like yours? Hello. That was odd. Shop FSE. Here, let me Shop FSC, go to the apparel part, and I got a whole plethora of them. I just got this in today. So I would love for you guys to be wearing these shirts and sending me messages and tagging me on Instagram wearing the shirt representing the show. Would be pretty awesome. So you can get them on shopfsc.com. All right, let's get into another bang video. Did I do the short one already? I didn't do the short bang yet, right? Let me know in the chat. I'm confusing myself. We went all over the place. Let me know. All right. I'm going to load it up. I don't think we did the short one. Gene says yes. Snowden says no. Jessica says no. Maybe Gene's saying yes about something else. The short side bang. I don't think we did. We did not do it. All right. Kristen says no. All right. I don't even know what you're talking about, Jess. All right, here it is. Short side bang, 2 different ways. A nice heavy side bang and then a light side bang. Check it out.
So now we're going to work on a shorter side bang. And what I'm going to do is take diagonal forward sections, over direct them, creating a stationary guide. And again, because we want to go heavy, I'm keeping my elevation low and cutting with my finger angle parallel to my parting. So just making sure I keep that consistent. Now, if you wanted to create a little more of a light feel to this fringe, what I would do is just suggest slight elevation after each section that you take. No one says that you have to stay either stationary or kind of extremely move it. You could just slightly lift it as you go around that curve of the head, and then you won't get so much of a weight line on the opposite side. What I wanted to do for you guys today is just show you what that stationary guide looks like. It's got a really cool feel to it, and it really pushes that weight down to the cheekbone area. So you can see that there is a little bit of layering. Why that happens is because as I round the head, my elevations change. So we did create some layering following the round of the head there. Now I'm just connecting the opposite side using my finger angle the same way. And I'll go through, blow it dry, iron it out so you guys can see what this looks like. I think this is a pretty standard bang, and I think this is what a lot of people cut, and then they get upset that it's a little too heavy. So this is definitely, you got to listen to your guest, what they're looking for, but I'm going to show you guys how to make it look lighter and more PC in a second. You'll notice when I'm cutting hair, I'm using a tighter teeth comb. I'm using a 339 comb from YS Park. When I go through to iron the hair, I use this is the 337 comb, just because it's a little bit easier to get through the hair. You can see that nice soft angle. That's all created with over direction and finger angle, guys. So now we're gonna do a light, short, more airy, kind of fringy, I guess fringy would be the word, but a PC look in the bang. So what I'm gonna do is take the weight, over direct everything over the part. So I'm taking a vertical section, over directing everything over the part, twisting it, pinching it in my finger, and doing a tease cutting technique with the scissor. What the tease cutting technique is, if you haven't seen that in some of our past videos, you can also look it up on our YouTube channel for sure. But the tease cutting technique is a half open, half closing of the scissor. So you're just closing the scissor down on, pinching the hair into the scissor. You'll be able to see a better angle of it here. So I take that vertical section and then I'm just half closing as I go into the hair. We definitely have more detailed videos on that technique if you're looking to learn it. You also could create more of a light PC feel by elevation. So remember the second bang cut that we just did. All you'd have to do is elevate those bangs up and you would get the same sort of effect. I like it being a little more choppy, and that's what the tease cutting technique does.
All right. There we go. Here we go. So those videos abruptly stop, and I'm still trying to figure out how to undo what I did. Oops. Oh, I think I'm going to have to let it go. I got to do it afterwards. And then I got to send Brenda an apology. All right. So a couple questions here on that. If you guys have any questions about that side fringe, let me know. Okay, Siraj, I think is how you pronounce his name, said he heard that putting scissors in the freezer slightly repair the sharpness. Is that correct? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know what the science is behind that, what it would do to the metals. I don't think I would put my scissors in the freezer, but if anybody else has heard of that, let us know in the chat. That's an interesting thought. There's so many things out there too. Like, this is like the funniest thing about beauty school and stuff. Like, I remember like all the things that you're told in beauty school. Like, there's just so much stuff, and it's not my beauty school, it's every beauty school, but it's like literally like as a hairdresser, it's like we hear something and then it's just fact forever. Like, you know, there's so many, like I need to make a whole video on that. Like, there's just so many things that people say. All right. Is there any way to texturize debulk under the fringe instead of on the top? I have clients who don't like visible short pieces. Yes, so totally. I think one of the best ways to debulk a fringe, and actually I have an Andrew Carruthers video. Maybe I'll show that. It's a little bit longer video. I have shown that video before, so I don't really want to double up on a video, but if you take like a texture scissor that takes out very little bulk, like this one here, like if I cut into the hair, like it's literally like 4 or 5 pieces, like it's nothing crazy. This is a scissor that we're working on coming out with from Mizutani, my scissor. It takes out so little of hair that you can put it right. I'm not gonna do it because I'm getting low, but it takes out such little hair that you could have the fringe hanging down and you could take right at the scalp and just peel away some of that bulk. And that's the technique that that we talk about doing in, you know, just to debulk and have it seamless. I know it seems scary to take it right at the scalp, but if it's literally like 3 hairs at a time, you don't have to worry about it because you're not going through and taking out too much. So that's a good one. Donna, thanks so much. I didn't block her on YouTube. She's on Facebook. So I'm trying to figure out how to unblock a person on Facebook pages, not Facebook like personal. I saw the personal way to do it, but I blocked her by accident on my Facebook page, like my business page. Whoops. That's a rough one. This is the best show. I have to say this is probably one of the best shows yet, except for I screwed up Brenda's day. And I'm like not okay with it. All right. I can't believe the stuff I have to learn that has nothing to do with cutting hair. It's nuts. A weird question, scissor in the fringe. I'm not sure if that's a question, Glennis, but every time I see your name, it makes me thirsty. Not a person, it's Brenda. You blocked Brenda. She's laughing anyway. Is she laughing? Like, I don't know. I don't know if she's laughing or not. What would your consultation look like with someone who wants bangs? And Bree, if you weren't the one that posted this before, thank you for reposting this. It was good. A consultation with bangs for me is mostly about the amount of time they spend on their hair. I also am going to look at the cowlicks that they have. I want to make sure that, you know, if they have too many cowlicks, I don't want to really put a fringe in, especially if they're not that good at styling their hair. So I want to really dig deep into their process in the morning, how much time they have to get ready, why they want the fringe, what they're trying to accomplish with it. Like, that would be my consultation. Those are the things I go into. Obviously, personalize it for yourself, but that would be the biggest one. Show us video for short, fine hair, please. Mila, we'll definitely do that. We'll do a fine hair episode coming up soon. I think that's a great idea. We did a thick hair episode, I believe. It's all starting to run together. I got to start keeping a spreadsheet or something. But yeah. Let's see. I hope after the pandemic you can still show this virtual video. Murda, I am. I'm going to do this show. This show's buy the sweatshirt because this show's not going anywhere. Just kidding. I'm kidding, not kidding. You should definitely. Also, they're willing to change their part. Okay. Yes, it's very important. All right, so the next video that I'm going to share with you guys is going to be how to cut a straight fringe. A lot of tips in this little short clip. I think you guys will really dig it. So here is how to cut straight fringe.
Now we're going to go through and cut a straight bang. I like to do this on dry hair if I can. And what I do is I use the tip of the scissor or the blade of the scissor to lift up the bang. I slide my comb underneath using not super wide teeth, but not super tight either. So the 339 comb works pretty well for me for this. And I go in, I hold the hair up with a nice elevation, not too high, because again, the higher I elevate that comb, the more layered effect I'm going to get on the hair. So I want that nice solid line in there. So I just hold the hair tight with the comb, and I go through and I use my blade to cut the scissor, and I use the comb to hold the tension. So you can see you get that nice hard line fringe.
All right. So that's a super quick video on how to cut a straight fringe. And I want to go into that a little bit more in depth. A couple things that I want you guys to understand is that comb choice in cutting a straight fringe is really important. And then the elevation that you do is really important as well. So let's bring Baldy over here. So when you elevate the fringe out from the head, you want to make sure that you don't want it flat up against the head, because where is that hair coming from? It's coming from right here in this whole entire forehead. The forehead is the most complicated. Can't talk. The forehead is the most complicated part to cut because you're working in such a small area and the entire thing is curving. Like when you cut in the back of the head, it's a slight curve back here, but the elevation from the ear down is pretty similar. When you get to the front of the head, you have all of these different curves that you're working on, and the whole face frame and all the hair that sits around the face is coming off of all of these curves. So it's different elevations, different angles. So when you're cutting a fringe, and you have it not elevated at all, when you pull this hair and let this hair fall from all the way up here, look at the angle that it has to take. So it's coming straight down like this would be 0 degrees, right? So it would be like the lowest elevation that I try to do on hair cutting. And then you're actually dropping it from there down to here, so it gets super heavy and bulky and it doesn't want to lay right. So from this point, I try to go basically just straight off the head and then maybe drop it just the slightest bit at the very beginning. And then as I take a little bit more hair, just slightly raise it up just a little bit, and that softens it. But I'm talking like the littlest bit, guys. Don't get too crazy with it. And then when you have it, I should put Baldy on a stand, but when you have it in your comb and you're holding it here, right? So we scoop up the hair, we put it in our comb, and then as I'm cutting, instead of cutting it right against the head, I just lift it out just the littlest bit. So I take it from here to here, and then I cut across. And obviously I would probably cut my hand aimed down, but I would cut across like that, keep my comb nice and flat still, and then slight elevation helps me through cutting that straight fringe. So hope that helps you guys. All right. Diane, Matt, I've been doing hair for 40 years and I'm still learning from your videos. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. 40 years is awesome. It's like, for me, like I always like looked at, when I first started doing hair and I heard of people doing hair for like 10 years, I was like, wow, I've been doing hair forever. And now that I've been doing hair for 16 years, it's like, and I feel like I haven't been doing it forever. It's crazy. But now I look at like 40 years and I'm like, that's a long time. That's like forever. That's a lot of clients every day. Like, you know, you got to love it to do it that long. And so I just think that's super cool. And 40 years is going to be here before I know it. So awesome. Thank you so much for watching the show. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Roya, what's up? That's positive vibes right there. Positive vibes. All right, I got one more video for you guys. This is a really good breakdown on this video. It's not as short as the other ones, so it's a really good breakdown of cutting a fringe, cutting a longer curtain. So this is the one that like real long, nice opened up fringe. We talk about that head shape a lot in this video, so I think you'll pull from that, and that's about it. So Baldy need a real name. He's a regular guest. Good one. Good one. All right, you guys name Baldy, and then we'll label him. Richard, awesome. Check it out. You guys are great. 41 years. Very cool. Jan, put a Q in front of your question. Yes, thank you, Bonnie, for throwing that out there. I don't see Jan's question. Jan getting frustrated. Yeah, put a Q in front of your question, guys. So Q and then question. Q and then question, so I can easily see your question. All right, cool. Oh, Jan, there it is. What do the numbers mean on the comb? I don't think I have numbers on the comb. So this comb, this is the comb that I use. It doesn't have numbers. Sometimes they put numbers for the inches. I guess if you want to measure things. These little dots here, I think they just take weight out of the comb, make the comb maybe a little bit more flexible. This is the YS Park comb. There is a couple numbers down at the very bottom. It says 339, but I don't think that's what you're talking about. So 339 YS Park comb. We got ruby, we got emerald green, we got all new colors in the shop. So you can check them out there. Richard says yes, inches. So yeah, like the beauty school comb that I got had numbers all the way down it. It was inches. Phyllis Braun, 54 years. What the heck? That's incredible. Legend. Jess, good shout out. Where did you see that? Deb. I like that Deb is just as worried about Brenda as I am. Brenda's not unblocked yet. I'm reading the how-to. How do I view the people banned from my Facebook page? That's what I'm reading about right now. It's not as easy. I'm not bad at technology and figuring these things out, but I'm also live on a show, so it's a little hard. I'm playing videos, I'm doing this, I'm answering your questions, and I'm trying to unban Brenda at the same time. This show should be called Oops, I Banned Brenda. How long have you been doing hair? What do you love the most about it? Kristen, that's a good question. So I've been doing hair for 16 years. I did say that already. But I think what I love most about it is educating. So I've loved learning new techniques and new things, and then being able to educate and translate those to people. I think that's definitely my favorite part about it. My least favorite part is new clients, to be honest. It's I'm definitely like somebody, and we talked about it a little bit on the show yesterday. I love like just being in my zone and cutting hair and doing it just for the thought process, not necessarily I don't love like the catering to like I don't like the small talk is really what it is. I struggle with small talk. I'm not good at it. So I like having repeat clients that I've known for a long time. I love that. That's a big reason why I don't take new clients now and I educate online. I think everybody needs to adapt what they do to what they enjoy doing every day, because every day I wake up and I get excited about what I'm going to do. I never am really dreading what I'm going to do for that day, unless I have to do color on a mannequin. And I do color a lot, but I always say this, and I've said it forever. I color hair to make money, and I cut hair, and I do it for free, and I do it for free all the time. Anne says, I feel that way too. Yeah, I think a lot of people have that feeling. You know, I just don't like, I like real conversation. I don't like to have to make things up to fuel a conversation. So that's how I feel like we're at. You're welcome, Bree. Thanks for being on the show. All right. Akash, I think this is a whole show right here. So I want to I'm not going to answer that question because I feel that is a whole show and I want to really focus on that. So I'll put that into the thought process. What are we doing? Haircuts, suit, face. We'll do a whole breakdown. I think that would be an awesome show to do all that. All right, cool. All right. I'm going to do more Q&A, but let's roll the last video so we get through that, and then I'll do some more of your questions. I see them. Thank you guys so much for posting so many questions today. It's really kept the show just fun and going. And yeah, so here is the last video of the day. Hope you guys enjoy it. It's cutting a long curtain fringe, different technique completely, and I think you guys will like it. Here it is. Now we're going to go into the fringe. So what I wanted to do is cut a nice open kind of curtain fringe, if you want to call it that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with a little bit of elevation. I'm going to work with vertical partings. One little tip, and this is something I learned from Richard Manna, I believe. He cuts the length. So notice that I'm checking where I want my guide to be. Then I have a ton of hair. So what I'm going to do is cut the bulk of it off first. Then I'm going to go in and point cut a line. And I'll show you guys that again so you can see it. But I go in and I point cut because I want to create a nice soft feel. So I cut the blunt line for my length. Then I go in with point cutting, a little bit of deeper point cutting. But here's the tip right here. So as I comb the hair over, I've got a lot of hair in my hand. So in order to control it, I cut the bulk of it off first. I don't go all the way to the guide. I can still see my guide underneath. And then I go in and I point cut that length to match my guide. So what that's doing is just allowing me to control the hair a little bit better. I thought that was such a cool tip. Anytime I'm around a different hairdresser that I haven't worked with before, I always try to grab something from them that I can bring into what I do. And that was one thing that I really thought was cool, is just being able to control that hair, because sometimes when we're hairdressers and we go in to cut that long hair that's over our fingers, it's challenging and it gets in the way. So just take that bulk off, then go in and cut your lines however you would like. And that's it. I hope you guys like the cut. You can see the layers. You can see the opened up curtain face frame fringe. I hope you guys like it. Thanks. All right. What'd you guys think of that? Super cool. I think I found... No, Brendan. Maybe I didn't really block her. Brent. Oh wait, slowly finding. Brenda. Oh, that's Benda. That's not. Oh, I was like, this is gonna be the greatest finale to the show ever because I found her and unblocked her by the end of the show, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Cool. Cool. Did you guys like the show? Did you like everything? I'm going to do a little bit of Q&A now. So if you have a question, type Q before your question so I can see it. I do see some questions popping up here. I don't know what episode we are on, but this should be called the one where Brenda got blocked. Oh, yeah. So true, Jess. So true. Q, any ideas... It's so funny because apparently I blocked some other people in the past. And I typed in Brenda and like Brendan is coming up, like other people, but not Brenda. I don't know. And I checked both pages too. I really don't understand how that happened. I will figure it out afterwards and she will be unblocked. And I'll report back to you guys tomorrow about it. Let's see. Okay, wait. Here's Angela's question. So any ideas for getting clients to use professional products to support the salon service /cut? I have a few clients that spend money for their service but don't use the recommended products. So Angela, oh my God, I found her. Wait, no. Different Brenda. Oh no, she liked it. Okay, I found her. Oh my gosh. Wait, I'm friend requesting her right now. And where'd she go? I lost her again. Sorry, you guys are with me on this, right? You're, okay. So, sorry, back to Angela's question. So, what I do to my guests, talk to my guests about products, is I don't try to sell them anything, and I only talk about things that I actually think are going to benefit, which I'm assuming is what you're doing. So then, when you start off your service, and one of the things I talk about is I don't like small talk, so I don't really do small talk. I educate when I have a client behind the chair or in the chair. So I start off, I talk to them about their hair, the different things that I think that would make their hair better. I talk about the products, I break down the products. I know so much about each product. So anytime I want to sell product, it kind of happens naturally because with education comes sales, right? So I hope, even if you take this show for example, I've got, these combs, and I'm talking about why I like these combs and this scissor, and I'm telling you that because I can honestly tell you that. And then I think a lot of you guys are probably like, man, I don't want to buy a cheap scissor and waste my money on it ever again because I believe that person. So that's where I think a lot of people, when they don't put out the truth, they're not truthful out there. What happens is people just don't, it's not that you're not building that relationship. So don't sell product just to sell product. Really educate people on every aspect of what you're doing and why you chose that product and what your favorite products are and all that stuff. And then you will definitely be able to, at that point, still trying. At that point, you'll be able to just sell product naturally. It won't be a problem. All right. Diane, Matt, due to the new restrictions, blow drying is not recommended. How do you suppose to finish our clients? So somebody did say this earlier, but I think this day, like right now, some of us aren't allowed to blow dry, and I think it's okay. And what they're saying is the blow dryer, the airflow, and the blow dryer sucks in air and blows it out, blows it everywhere. They're just saying it spreads the virus. So I'm fine with the not blow drying. If I have a client that needs a more precision type cut, then what I'll do is I'll do the wet cut and then I'll rebook them to come back within a day or two and just have them come back in with their hair blown dry. And then they won't get it as well as I'll get it, but then I'll go through and just polish it out and won't have any issues at that point. So that should really help out everything. Now we have a problem, guys, because I've blocked 2 Brendas, and I don't know which one is which. I think that's the one. It's so funny because it's going through and it's like pulling them up. All right. Let's see. You guys are very welcome. This is awesome. I'm out color cooking. Poor Brenda is the future guest. Yep, there's another Brenda. This is getting... I'm just going to unblock all Brendas. And then if they ever say anything nasty again, then I'll block them. But this Brenda today didn't say anything nasty. She had a great question, and I just accidentally hit the button. But the other Brendas, they definitely said something. All right. Can you get the same effect with texturizing scissors on bangs? Yes. So, Phyllis... Yeah, you can get a similar effect, and I think texturizing scissors in a fringe is kind of a really nice tool to use, but I use it just like I would a scissor. So if I was going to go through and texturize a fringe, I would still do some slide cutting through it. I wouldn't just hold it and cut because you don't want any of those blunt. I want all the lines that I create in the hair to be more diagonal and kind of flowing in the direction that I wanted that cut. Let's see. Bring Brenda back. That's hilarious. That's the next t-shirt right there. How to do a creative haircut. Any tips on that? Akash, you have like show style questions. So again, creative haircutting, we could get into that. I think that's a great show subject. So showing all the different ways to create more creative shapes and not just, basic shapes. That would be cool. So thanks for the idea on that. All right. I think that's it. What can you do for colored women growing out gray hair? So Isabella, so this is a loaded question. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my friend that does like unbelievable transformations on gray hair. I'm gonna have him on, and we're gonna go through all of that, because that's like, I'm not like a colorist, so I don't want to talk about the best ways. Like for me, with clients that want to grow out their gray hair, I start out by doing highlights, and then I would work them into demi color on the root a little bit, or just blend it with the highlights, and then let it kind of just keep growing and be lighter and lighter with the highlights as I go. Are they banning hood dryers too? Probably, Ann. I would assume if a blow dryer can't be, a hood dryer probably isn't as well. Akash, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Sorry I didn't fully answer your questions, but I promise I'll make shows about them coming up. Yes, Jack Martin. That's hilarious, Jess. Very funny, very funny. All right. I just listened to your interview with Jack Martin. Yeah, Jack Martin's awesome, and I'd love to have him on here in the subject of growing out gray hair. Would be pretty cool. So, all right. So I found 3 Brendas that have been blocked on this channel before. I'm going to unblock all 3 of them, and that's how we're going to end the show. Today was fun. I had a blast with all of you guys. Literally one of the best shows ever, I would say, definitely. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the plethora of information and different types of bangs that we cut. And that's pretty much it. I want you guys to go download the FSE Now app. Check it out. This is what it is. I'll see you in a sec. What did you guys think of that? Let me see. Let me go back to this guy. There we go. All right, guys. So what do we say at the end of the show? Hope all of you guys have the best day ever.
It's gonna be a great day.
Enjoy. Hopefully you're having a beautiful day outside. If it's raining, it'll be sunny tomorrow. Don't worry. Can't wait to hang with you guys tomorrow. What do you want the show to be about? Let me know in the comments what you want to see. And
let me show you the way.
We'll see you guys. See you tomorrow.
It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. Let me show you the way.
Thanks, guys.